This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. You like that music, Dr. Cornel West?
That's Curtis Mayfield. Keep on pushing. He's on the love train. We on the love train.
Dr. Cornel West is with us, and Tavis Smiley, and they have a radio show called Smiley and West. That's every week. It's a weekly program. You were just having a debate with Jeffrey Toobin on it around the issue of third-party candidates and what we need in this country. Do you think movements are shaping up? And what do you think the movements that brought President Obama into office the first time, what do you think they are doing now after the second time? Tavis?
Well, one, I draw a distinction
West?
between campaigns and movements. Movements are highly sophisticated forms of bringing power and pressure to bear on the status quo. Campaigns are attempts to mobilize in order to support candidates inside of a system. And they play a role and so forth, but there was not a social movement. We haven't had social movement really since the gay brothers and lesbian sisters tried to break the back of homophobia, going before that the feminist movement and then the great black freedom movement called the civil rights movement. Those are very rare. Usually the leaders are repressed and diluted or diluted. So that right now the left, we are weak. We are feeble. The Occupy movement was a tremendous expression of voices, but it was not a movement that was crystallizing in any way. But we are bouncing back. A democratic awakening is taking place thanks to Democracy Now! And Tavis' show and so forth. But at the moment, we're still dispersed and scattered.
I talked about Smiley and West, your weekly radio show, which was just canceled here on WBEZ in Chicago, though it's being picked up by other networks. Tavis, can you talk about this and the controversy around this? It's been written up in the public radio and television newspaper, Current, and other places.
I'm now in my 20th year in the broadcast business, and most of that time has been spent in public media spaces, NPR, PBS, PRI, and that's by choice. I could be in a commercial space if I chose to be, and I've done that before. But
you came from BET.
I came from BET, came from CNN, I came from ABC. I've done the commercial thing. But I love the public radio and public TV space because it allows us to get a different kind of truth, and I don't have to respond to all the pressures from corporate media when you're playing that particular game. And I have respect for my friends who do it. It's just not for me at this point in my life. So I've done this for a long time. This has been an uphill battle all along for me. It's tragic to consider at my age, I'm the first person of color in the history of NPR to have his own daily show. And that started in 2002. 2004, I became the first person of color in the history of PBS to have his own show every night on PBS. That's how late to the game public TV and public radio have been in terms of giving people of color a space to operate inside of. So that when a station like WBEZ in Chicago, a great station, but when a station like WBEZ in Chicago starts making excuses for why they dropped Smiley and West when we believe and know it's all about the politics. This is the president's hometown, and they didn't want us on the air in the last 6 weeks of the campaign talking about holding the president accountable and pushing him on why he's not talking about poverty and why he's not talking about the drones. So a decision was made here in his hometown without our knowledge, without our consultation, to just simply pull the plug on the Smiley and West show, again, without any forewarning. When that happened, you know, the citizenry here in Chicago who supports BEZ and listens to our program went crazy. And
what was it replaced by?
It was replaced with a repeat of Car Talk, which is not, which is, you know, is no longer even in production. Car Talk was a very popular show for years, but it's not even in production anymore. So they pulled us off and started running repeats of Car Talk. So that got a lot of conversation going in the city. To make a long story short, this is not about Smiley and West being canceled. This is about the democratization of public media. It's about the lack of diversity in public media. Something is wrong when a black man from Chicago has a better chance of being president of the United States than he does of hosting a talk show in prime time on public radio in Chicago. So all these excuses continue to be made. I've been fighting this battle for years, and when I talk about diversity, I don't mean just ethnic diversity. I mean ideological diversity. For all the criticisms that public media takes for being part of the liberal media bias, we ain't so liberal when you listen to the ideology, when you see the lack of ethnic diversity. And so the good news is, without going, you know, on so long, because I don't believe in in spending too much time on what's prologue. The reality is that within 24 hours, a number of stations in Chicago called and said we would love to carry Smiley and West. And so part of our being in Chicago alongside you last night was to talk about democratizing public media and to celebrate with our listenership the fact that there are two stations in Chicago now, WCPT, Chicago Progressive Talk, and WVON, the Talk of Chicago, two stations now that are carrying the program. So we lose one station and pick up two. So if every time I get canceled by somebody, if I can pick up two in the place of one, keep canceling me. I can live with that.
Keep canceling. You know, but Brother Tavis makes the point with great insight that when public broadcasting was first initiated under Johnson, it was for children and people of color. But it has become a white liberal elitist bastion, as if white liberal elitists own it. And so the voices of red, our indigenous brothers and sisters, Latino, black, Asian, don't play a fundamental role. That needs to be radically called into question. And our white liberal elitists, they need to understand that this is part of the critique that they have to come to terms with.
So where do you go from here? Tavis, you still have your PBS show.
Sure.
Your show continues here in Chicago and all over the country. Inequality globally and here in this country is growing.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. One of the things that, to answer your question expressly, where we go from here, we continue using these platforms every week and every night to try to speak truth, again, to power and to the powerless. I'm about to start my 10th year on PBS, so that show is going extremely strong. I'm 13 years now into public radio, so I'm very blessed to be where I am with these platforms. And with regard to poverty specifically, where we go next is January the 17th in Washington. We are having another national symposium just 3 days before the president gets inaugurated, talking about poverty. The confirmations are coming in. We're bringing together this time the leaders in the poverty, the anti-poverty movement. We're talking Marian Wright Edelman, confirmed. We're talking Jeffrey Sachs, confirmed. We're talking Cornel West, confirmed. We're talking Jonathan Kozol, confirmed. We're bringing together leaders in this movement, and we're going to talk about the president calling a White House conference to
We're going to do part 2 of our conversation with Smiley and West in just one moment, and we'll post it at WebEx. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much.